Convergence dream, the dream that holds everything. The convergence dream begins with sleep, not the restless kind, but the deep, soul-level surrender that feels like stepping into another world. Laying in his bed within his home in Houston, John closes his eyes, Vlada lying beside him. Somewhere else, Susan drifts off in her quiet home. Rachel curls up with her sketchbook, and then, without warning, they're all there. A shared dream has begun to envelop them like a warm, comfortable blanket. The backyard again, Mama's backyard, but this time it's different. The garden is in full bloom. Marigolds, sunflowers, cherry blossoms. The porch swing sways gently. The air is golden, like the hour right before a sunset that never ends. Zach is there and is the first to speak. I remember this place, but I don't think I've ever been here like this. Rachel walks up beside him. I think I've only heard about it in stories, but I know it. Susan steps forward, her voice soft. I dreamed this once, with your father, but I didn't know it could come back. John appears next, hand in hand with Vlada. She looks around, eyes wide. This is the dream you told me about, but it's more than that now. Mama and Daddy are there too. Mama is radiant and whole. She smiles at each of you. You brought your timelines with you. Now let's see what they've become. Everyone sits together on lawn chairs, porch steps, the grass itself. No one rushes. No one explains. The dream does that for you. Zach speaks of the life he lived in Georgia, the one where he never got sick. He talks about the cost of survival, the absence of Rachel, the ache of knowing something was missing. Rachel shares her memories of growing up with stories instead of siblings, of drawing chalk outlines of people she never met, of feeling like she was born from a dream. Susan admits the pain of holding on too long, of loving fiercely but imperfectly, of learning to let go. Vlada listens, then speaks. You all lived different versions of love, but you're here now. That means something. John says, I tried to change the past. I tried to honor it. I tried to live with it. And somehow, I ended up here with all of you. Mama stands and walks to the center of the garden. She holds a small box. Each of you gets one seed, she says. It's not for planting. It's for remembering. She hands one to Zach. For the life you lived and the one you dreamed. To Rachel. For the stories you carry and the ones you'll write. To Susan. For the love that shaped you, even when it broke. To Vlada. For the healing you brought and the future you hold. And to John. For all the versions of you that tried, and the one that chose love. The dream begins to fade, not abruptly, but gently, like fog lifting from a lake. One by one, each person begins to wake, but something remains. Rachel wakes to find a sketch in her notebook she doesn't remember drawing. A backyard, a cherry tree, 7 figures. Susan opens her dresser drawer and sees a marigold tucked inside. Vlada wakes beside John, holding his hand. I saw them, she says, all of them, What a gift. John smiles. So did I, finding a journal full of notes from Mama, Zach, Rachel, and himself on his bedside table. John and Vlada eventually married in December 2014. Not with fanfare, but with intention. Rachel stood beside them, holding a bouquet of marigolds with happy tears in her eyes. Susan sent a quiet blessing. It wasn't a new beginning. It was a continuation, a garden that had waited long enough. Later that month, back in Georgia, Daddy smiles from his porch swing. Rachel is drawing chalk stars on the stone path that leads to Mama's marigold garden under the cherry tree. Vlada is stitching a quilt while seated next to Daddy. John is sitting on the swing beneath the cherry tree and playing Zach's guitar softly, reverently. The swing creaks. The marigolds bloom. The wind carries a rhythm that wasn't there before. Rachel asks, "Do you think Zach would have liked Vlada?" John says, "He would have loved her." Rachel mentions, "She listens like Grandpa does." John replies, "You're definitely right about that." It started in 2015 with a quiet moment in the garden. Rachel was sketching the cherry tree and marigolds, and John was strumming his guitar nearby. She hummed a melody, soft, wistful, but hopeful. John pauses. "That melody, it feels like Zach." Rachel nods. "And Mama and Vlada and you and me." John grabbed a notebook and began jotting down lyrics. Rachel added lines, sketches, and symbols in the margins. The song began to take shape, not as a tribute to one person, but to everyone who shaped his life. Lyrics excerpt from all the versions of us. We are echoes, we are sparks. We are pages filled with marks. We are choices, we are change. We are love that rearranged. All the versions of us, woven, wild, and true. I found me in you. Plant the seed, let it grow. Let the past gently flow. In the bloom, in the hush. In the tears we didn't rush. John and Rachel record the song in his home studio. Vlada adds harmonies, soft and grounding. Susan sends a photo of Zach to use as the album cover. Daddy listens to the demo and says, "It sounds like all of you are in the same room again." They release the song through the Shuttle Project. It becomes the anthem of the foundation. The song is played every year at the badminton tournament. Rachel performs it live, sometimes with you, sometimes solo. It's not just music, it's memory, stitched into melody. And every time it plays, he feels it. Zach's laughter, Rachel's resilience, Mama's warmth, Vlada's love, all the versions of us, finally in harmony. In this convergence of timelines, John writes songs. He writes letters. He writes with Rachel and Vlada beside him. He writes with Zach and Mama inside him. They launch the Shuttle Project. They host workshops. They build swings in gardens across the world. They collect stories from children who have lost and help them find some peace, understanding, acceptance, and in some cases, closure. Rachel becomes Ray and begins to bloom. The quilt begins to grow. This is the life that bloomed, not because it was easy, but because it was true. This is the true awakening path, and it's the one John chooses every day.